The pain of being rejected by your own family. Is there any pain more excruciating than being rejected by the very people who were supposed to love you the most? The ones who brought you into this world, who should have been your safe haven, now make you feel like a stranger in your own home. The warmth you longed for has been replaced with cold indifference. The love you craved has turned into judgment, and the place that should have been your sanctuary now feels like a battlefield. You tried so hard to belong, to be seen, to be accepted, to be loved unconditionally. But instead, you were met with disapproval, silence, and at times even outright exclusion. Your dreams, your choices, your very existence became something to be criticized, something that made you an outsider in your own family. And the worst part? You still question if it's your fault. But why? Why do the people who should love us the most end up hurting us the deepest? Is it because we changed, or is it because they never truly saw us in the first place? Today, we uncover the painful truth behind family rejection, the hidden wounds, the unspoken expectations, and the heartbreaking reality of being cast aside by those who should have cherished you. If you've ever felt abandoned by your own blood, know that you are not alone. And more importantly, this pain does not define you. Love should not come with conditions. Family is supposed to be a place of love, safety, and unconditional support, right? A place where you are accepted for who you are, not for what you do or how well you fit into someone else's expectations. But what happens when love comes with a price? You must obey. You must follow our way of life. You cannot make choices that go against what we believe. Suddenly, love feels less like a gift and more like a contract, one that you never agreed to sign. Have you ever felt like your family only loves you when you conform? That the moment you choose a different path, pursue a passion they don't approve of, or simply express your individuality, you are no longer worthy in their eyes? That their approval isn't given freely, but rather dangled over your head, only granted when you meet their conditions? That is not love. That is control. Real love does not demand obedience. It does not require you to shrink yourself to fit inside someone else's vision of who you should be. It does not disappear the moment you assert your independence. Love should never feel like a test you have to pass or a performance you must perfect. It should not be a privilege reserved only for those who conform, but a constant force that remains, even in disagreement, even in change. If someone loves you only when you comply, when you obey, when you abandon your true self to make them comfortable, then what they offer is not love. It is manipulation disguised as affection. And you deserve better. You deserve love that is free of conditions. You deserve relationships where you are valued, not controlled. You deserve to be seen for who you truly are, and to be loved, not in spite of it, but because of it. Why your family sees you as a threat. Have you ever wondered why the people who should be your biggest supporters are often the ones who try to silence you, criticize you, or even push you away? Why does your growth, your happiness, seem to make them uncomfortable? The truth is, you are not the problem. The real issue is that your evolution exposes what they have refused to face within themselves. When you break away from old traditions and limiting beliefs, they feel threatened, because deep down, they know they never had the courage to do the same. When you choose to live authentically, they feel unsettled, because your boldness reminds them of the parts of themselves they've buried for so long. When you succeed in ways they never imagined, they feel resentment, because instead of celebrating you, they see your achievements as a painful reminder of the dreams they gave up on. Your existence challenges their comfort zone. Your courage highlights their fears. Your success makes them confront their regrets. And so, rather than dealing with their own insecurities, they turn against you. They label you as difficult, rebellious, or selfish. They create distance, not because you have done something wrong, but because it is easier for them to reject you than to face their own failures. And that is the deepest betrayal of all. To be cast aside, not because you are unworthy, not because you have harmed them, but because you dared to become something they could not, because your mere existence forces them to look at a truth they would rather avoid. They would rather lose you than change themselves. And that is a heartbreaking reality to accept. But hear this. Their rejection does not define your worth. Their inability to love you does not mean you are unlovable. Their fears are not yours to carry. You are not a threat. You are simply a mirror, reflecting the truth they are too afraid to face. And if they cannot handle your light, that is not your burden to bear. Letting go of unhealthy relationships. How many nights have you laid awake, questioning if you are the problem? How many times have you swallowed your pain just to keep the peace? How often have you silenced yourself, hoping that if you just endure a little longer, things will change? But they never do. Because some relationships, no matter how much history, no matter the blood ties, are built not on love, but on control, on guilt, on expectations that suffocate rather than embrace. Ask yourself, does this relationship bring me joy, or does it drain the life out of me? Do I feel respected, or do I constantly have to prove my worth? Do I feel safe, or do I walk on eggshells, afraid that my next step will be the one that shatters everything? If the answer to these questions makes your heart ache, then it's time to let go. And that's terrifying, isn't it? Because we are told that family is forever, that no matter how much they hurt us, we should always come back, always forgive, always endure. But the painful truth is, not everyone who shares your blood is meant to be in your life forever. Not everyone who raised you has the right to dictate who you become. Not everyone who calls themselves family deserves a place in your heart. Letting go does not mean you don't love them. It does not mean you don't wish things were different. It does not mean you are weak. It means you are choosing yourself. And that is one of the hardest choices you will ever make, because it comes with grief, with guilt, with the weight of memories that whisper, maybe you should stay. But hear this, staying in a place that breaks you does not make you loyal. It makes you lost. You do not owe anyone your suffering. You do not have to set yourself on fire just to keep them warm. You deserve a love that does not come at the cost of your own well-being. Letting go is not giving up on them. It is finally deciding not to give up on yourself. The power of choosing your own path. There comes a moment in life when you realize you cannot control who loves you, who stays, or who walks away. You cannot force someone to see your worth, no matter how much you sacrifice. And you cannot keep waiting for the approval that may never come. But do you know what you can control? The way you choose to live your life. For so long, you have been told what you should be, how you should act, what path you should follow. You were expected to conform, to suppress your desires, to be someone that made others comfortable, even if it made you miserable. And every time you tried to break free, there was resistance. You're being selfish. You're disappointing the family. You're wrong for wanting something different. So you stayed. You obeyed. You tried to fit into their version of love, their definition of success, their idea of who you were supposed to be. But deep down, there was always that voice, the one whispering that this was not your life, that you were meant for more. And here's the truth. You are. You are meant for a life that feels like your own. You are meant to make choices that bring you joy, not just fulfill expectations. You are meant to live a life that you do not need to escape from. Stepping away from conditional love. You can choose to stop begging for love from those who refuse to give it freely. You can choose to stop breaking yourself into pieces just to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You can choose to walk away from pain, even if it means walking alone for a while. And in that space of solitude, something incredible happens. You start to build a new life, not one dictated by their expectations, but by your dreams, your values, your truth. At first, it may feel lonely. The weight of their disappointment may linger in your mind. The echoes of their words, "You'll regret this, you'll never make it, you'll come back," may try to pull you back. But as you keep moving forward, you begin to realize that the freedom to be yourself is worth more than their conditional love. It's not easy. Letting go of a version of life that you've been forced to accept takes courage. But the alternative, living a life that is not yours, will slowly break you in ways that you may never recover from. Creating your own family, your own future. You can choose to surround yourself with people who truly love and uplift you, not because of what you can do for them, but because of who you are. You can choose to create a future that aligns with your happiness, not their demands. You can choose to redefine what family means, not by blood, but by love, respect, and understanding. Because here's the truth: you do not need their validation to be worthy. You do not need their permission to be free. You do not need their acceptance to step into your power. You were enough before they doubted you. You were enough before they left. You have always been enough. Embracing your power and moving forward. And now it's time. Time to rise from the ashes of their rejection. Time to reclaim the love they denied you by giving it to yourself. Time to stop waiting for them to change and start creating a life that brings you peace. If they could not love you as you are, then they do not deserve the person you are becoming. If they could not see your worth, then it is their loss, not yours. Walk forward, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you have finally chosen yourself. And that choice, it will set you free.